And then he, under his stewardship, IFCO in fact became a global model of cooperative excellence. The chairman of IFCO, the chairman of NCUI, that's the National Cooperative Union of India, Shri Dilip Singhani was supposed to join us. Unfortunately, he has not been able to join us in person, but he has sent across his message. But to further introduce him, here I...
conference.
जी सर.
नमस्कार. आज पायदल ग्रुप के विशेष इस ऐतिहासिक मेरी और जिम्मेदारी गुजरात में होने के बावजूद मैं आपके समक्ष प्रत्यक्ष रूप से उपस्थित नहीं रहा हूँ. मुझे क्षमा याचना आप सबके करता हूँ. आज के इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर से श्री प्रशांत तिवारी जी और विनोद आनंद जी को हृदय से धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा. बायोफ्यूल 360 समिट के रूप में ऊर्जा, सहकारिता और आत्मनिर्भर की एक मंच के लाने का अद्वैत प्रयास किया. ये प्रयास के आयोजित एक प्रकार से संकल्प और सिद्धि का यात्रा का आरंभ ही समझो. इस मंच का विशेष जैविक ईंधन समृद्धि सिद्धि और केवल तकनीकी आयोग के विमर्श नहीं है. यह एक आर्थिक दर्शन, अन्य योजित कार्यक्रम में पूरी दुनिया का विकास और अर्थशास्त्र सिद्धांत को पुनः परिभाषित करते हैं. इसमें भारत का पैक्स और अपेक्स विकास अर्थशास्त्र सिद्धांतों को पुनः परिभाषित करते हैं. इसमें भारत का पैक्स टू अपेक्स मॉडल एक क्रांतिकारी मार्गदर्शन बन सकता है. प्राथमिक कृषि सहकारिता समितियां से लेके राष्ट्रीय स्तर की संस्थाओं तक यदि हम इस एक मूल्य श्रृंखला जोड़ दे तो यह सहकार से समृद्धि का सबसे ठोस टिकाऊ मॉडल बन सकता है. वर्ल्ड कोऑपरेटिव इकोनॉमिक फोरम इस ऐतिहासिक विमर्श के सहकारिता केंद्र में रखते हुए नीति, नवाचार और निवेश का नया त्रिकोण स्थापित कर रहा है. मुझे गर्व है कि इस मंच के माध्यम से वैश्विक नवाचार को स्थापित कर रहा है. मुझे गर्व है हम इस मंच से नहीं बल्कि संगठित मिशन मोड में सहकारिता आधारमूल श्रृंखला का निर्माण ही हमारा मार्ग है. हम सब मिलकर यह सुनिश्चित करें सहकारिता समृद्धि की यह ज्योति न केवल भारत को बल्कि पूरी दुनिया को हरित विकास और न्यायपूर्ण आर्थिक समृद्धता की राह दिखाए. और उनके लिए आज हम सब जो विचार विमर्श करेंगे, एक साथ जुड़ के नए विचारों को संकलित करेंगे, तो मुझे ये विश्वास है कि अगले दिनों में भारत पूरे विश्व को सहकारिता नेतृत्व करके शांतिपूर्ण ब्लडलेस रिवॉल्यूशन ओनली ऑल्टरनेटिव कोऑपरेटिव, ये हमने आईसीए के समापन में जो अपेक्षा व्यक्त की थी उनकी सफलता के लिए आज का हमारा ये विचार मंथन बहुत उपयोगी होगा. सबको उपस्थित रहने के लिए मैं आप सबका धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा. धन्यवाद.
दिलीप संघानी जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद उनके विचारों के लिए और साथ साथ उनके मार्गदर्शन के लिए. और इसके साथ हमारा ये उद्घाटन सत्र जो है शुरू होता है. और इसमें सबसे पहला जो हमारा सत्र है, द फर्स्ट टॉपिक विच वी आर गोइंग टू बी डिस्कसिंग with the various stakeholders is compressed biogas alternate to liquid biofuels. Now, harnessing organic waste to produce the compressed biogas actually takes us into a triple win. Of course, addressing the energy security for the nation, reducing our dependency on the import of the crude oil, making India self-sufficient, at the same time self-reliant in producing energy. Then also, as it is waste to wealth, it brings in more rural, generating more income for the rural population, and of course lowering the emissions. But then the question arises, is the CBG ecosystem ready? And is it ready to be further scaled up also? So this is what we take these discussions in this panel discussion with our panelists, trying to unpack the promise and the practicalities of making CBG a mainstream energy solution. And especially in that, as we look into rural prosperity and the important role of the cooperatives in driving the CBG movement, हमारे इस सत्र के चेयर उनकी सहकार से समृद्धि और निर्यात से समृद्धि के वे अग्रदूत रहे हैं, तो आप सभी की तालियों के बीच में उन्हें मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ. डॉक्टर मनीष शाह, द चेयरमैन ऑफ द नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड, और उनका यहाँ पर मंच पर स्वागत करने के लिए आमंत्रित है श्री प्रकाश विवेक जी, CEO ऑफ द पाइनियर. National Dairy Development Board's efforts in supporting gobar-based CBG plants, especially through dairy cooperatives, not only aligns with our net zero goals, but also create additional income streams for farmers while reducing methane emissions at the grassroots level. NDDB's movement, NDDB's model stands as a shining example of how waste to wealth and further scaling up a scalable model, a scalable rural solution we have. The session chair, Dr. Mani Shah, the chairman of National Dairy Development Board, being felicitated. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I now invite the moderator of the session, once again inviting Mr. Vinod Anand, the Executive President of the World Cooperation Economic Forum, to please take center stage as the moderator of the session. Rooted in the belief that cooperatives are the truest path to shared prosperity, Vinod Anand has dedicated his life to turning rural aspirations into lasting change. As a member of the Prime Minister's High Park Committee on MSP, he brings a cooperative-driven perspective to agricultural reform. Founder President of the World Cooperation Economic Forum and Secretary General of the Confederation of the NGOs of Rural India, he champions the cooperative economic framework to strengthen livelihoods, build global trust, and advance the sustainable development goals. I now invite our panelist of the session, Mr. C.V. Raman, the Executive Director, Research and Development at Maruti Suzuki, a driving force behind the company's push for clean mobility and innovation in alternative fuels like CBG. Our next eminent personality as a panelist, Mr. Mahesh Giridhar, the Managing Director and CEO of Ever Enviro Resource Management Limited. He brings in more than 2 decades of global experience in business operations strategy and general management, and has held key positions in biocrop sciences and Monsanto. Inviting now Dr. Dilip Kumar Khare, Technical Advisor to the World Biogas Association, bringing international insights into scalable and sustainable biogas solutions. Our next panelist, Mr. Govt Deshpande, the CEO of Thermax Bioenergy Solutions Private Limited, leading innovations in industrial scale biogas and bioenergy technologies in India. And Dr. W. Selvamurthy, the Chancellor of Amity University, a respected scientist, academician, contributing to research, innovation, and policy advocacy in biotechnology and bioenergy. Now, before we start with the panel discussion, we have the presentation by Maruti. And as we all understand, CBG can be a vital solution towards more cleaner and greener mobility. And Maruti Suzuki has been, who are in fact India's leading automobile manufacturers, have taken the lead in that, not only promoting CBG powered vehicles, but also actively collaborating to develop the CBG ecosystem under the Satat initiatives. By integrating CBG into its clean fuel portfolio, Maruti Suzuki is driving forward the twin goals of sustainability and affordability. So we first have the presentation from Maruti Suzuki, and then we'll start with the panel discussions.
Good afternoon, everybody, and first of all, thanks to the chair and also to the Pioneer Group for inviting me here for this very important event, which is the Biofuel 360 Summit. Very happy to be here, and as Maruti Suzuki, we are pursuing a multi-pathway in terms of technology and energy sources, and I'd like to share how we look at some of these alternate fuels. I'll talk about alternate to liquid fuels. That's the theme of today's session. Thanks. We're at today as an economy at about $3 trillion economy, and we want to grow that. And by Viksit Bharat, that is 2047, in the next 20 plus years, we would like to grow this economy to 10 times. And the auto industry itself in the next 20 years, if we achieve that, is going to be equivalent to today's economy, in terms of almost around $3 trillion. And what is going to drive towards mobility? And mobility, if you see from today, and this is Niti Aayog's numbers, where mobility is going to grow about 5x times in the next 20 years. And this is not just in, it's in rail, it's in metros, it's in by air, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, bus. All aspects of transport is going to grow in the next 5 years. And this is, driven by people's aspiration, and also mobility is a key driver of the economy. And so therefore, if we have to move towards that objective of being a developed nation and increasing our per capita to equal to any developed nation in the next 20 years, mobility is going to be one key factor. And because of this mobility growth, definitely the energy demand is going to follow. And so all segments, as they are going to grow, there is going to be a change in the way in which we will be fueling this growth of mobility. Today, if you look at on the left side of the slide, this is the actual import or the fuel which we use, which is predominantly imported. 90% is met by liquid fuels, which is petrol and diesel, and to some extent by gas. And if we go as it is, and on the right side of the slide, you will see that business as usual, if we are going to go to 5x times of our mobility, this is the kind of change which is going to happen as far as our energy basket is going to be. And so therefore, there's going to be a huge demand of both diesel as well as gas as well as petrol going forward. Also, we know that 80%, 85% of our crude oil is imported. And so therefore, from an energy security perspective, it is very important that we look at alternate sources of energy. The question is, how do we fuel this growth? Sorry. Yeah. So how do we fuel this mobility? And so today there is, as we saw, there's a large dependence on liquid fuel, and which is primarily imported. And so energy security, the question is there. So we need to increase our alternate fuels in our energy basket. And I also believe that India will have to make its own pathway for this energy transition. And as you can see, the total fuel demand in million tons of energy equivalent is going to grow continuously. So on the right-hand side of the slide, you will see how economies are moving this and changing this energy transition. The first bar you see is USA. They are basically looking at electrification in a big way, hybrid, plug-in hybrid. They're also looking at biofuel in a big way, and also looking at efficient ICE engines. If you look at Europe, Europe is predominantly looking at electrification and some amount of biofuel. If you look at Brazil, which is the middle of that slide, Brazil is predominantly looking at biofuel as a transitioning way for this requirement of growth of the mobility. China, and if you look at it, is again in a different space, following a little bit like the European model, predominantly electrification, plug-in hybrid, and also looking at efficient ICE and also some biofuel. Now, question is, how do we look at India? And that's the question, and I believe India will have its own unique way and to make its own way. So, what are these pathways of energy and technology? So, as you know, that today, our electricity generation is about 80%, which is coal-based. And going forward, we have a very ambitious target that we will go to a renewable quotient and 500 gigawatts by 2030, and we are well on the way as far as that is concerned. Second energy source which we are looking at is petrol and diesel, how we can move toward alternate energy source, which is ethanol based, and ethanol and gasoline, as you all know, we are already at about 20%. We are having a very ambitious target of introducing flex fuel vehicles. The auto industry is already working on it, and some of the products have already been showcased and coming into serial production in this year. So that's one big direction. The third is CNG, which is, all of us know, a large part of it is imported, and today gas-based mobility is increasing and is going to be equivalent to today's economy, in terms of almost around $3 trillion. And what is going to drive, of course, mobility? And mobility, if you see from today, and this is Niti Aayog's numbers, where mobility is going to grow about 5x times in the next 20 years, because the infrastructure is growing, and also from a total cost of ownership, it is a better total cost of ownership compared to petrol, even diesel. So from that perspective, there is a growth which is likely to happen. CNG can be, from a energy security perspective, can be, converted to a CBG source, and the CBG production, if it is able to increase, we can actually, make this a sustainable way, and that's what we want to talk about. So, if you look at the way in which the CNG growth is going to happen in business as usual case, there is going to, continuously grow. It's going to be about 53 MMT by 2050. The CBG potential, which is on the right-hand side, and really, there have been a lot of focus from the government, including the Satar scheme. The forecast by 2030 is about 4 MMT. What is the potential? The potential is 63 MMT. And so, what is it that we need to do in order to grow it in 2030, in 2040, and 2050? And why we should do that is what we are going to discuss from now on. So, what are the sources of, of the CBG? And so feedstock types, there are many. And so each has a different kind of yield which we have got. So primarily, if you see agriculture and animal waste, it could be about 8 to 20%. MSW, which is including food waste, about 4 to 5%. Press mud, 4 to 6%. Cattle manure. The estimated potential from these various sources, which is put on the right side, okay, is about 40 to 60 MMT per annum. And each of them, because of the feedstock which is available in India, there is a efficiency which is there both in terms of cost, also in terms of localization, and also in terms of energy security. So, and today, government players, government as well as private players, are actively engaged in this setting up this ecosystem for CBG. But of course, there are certain bottlenecks and there are certain action points which we need to look at. How do we unlock this huge potential? So, in terms of feedstock arrangement, there is a possibility of this biogas aggregation machinery. In terms of uptake, there has to be some kind of a guarantee. Already the government has notified that in 2025-26, 1% CBG has to be blended. Then going forward, 26-27, 3%, then 4%, 28-29 onwards about 5%. Large public sector undertakings, the OMCs, are also foraying into the biogas and setting up these biogas facilities. The byproduct of that, the fermented organic manure, requires certain market development assistance, and how we can increase the yield of that, or also the of this manure, is something which is work in progress. And also, when we have to connect these CBG plants to the pipeline, some kind of a support in terms of state assistance as well as is something which will need again a deliberation. So there are multiple initiatives which are there, which have a promising future. So I'll now talk a little bit about our other national goals. So you all are aware that greenhouse gas reduction is one of the key challenges which we are all, every nation is grappling with. We are the third largest as far as the methane emissions is concerned. We are the fourth largest as far as the CO2 is concerned. We have a lot of issues in terms of local pollution which is there. So how can CBG mitigate some of these climate and air quality risks is what we are going to talk about. So, CBG production, and all of you in this room would already be aware, helps in reduction of methane, also helps in reduction of CO2. And also, if you look at, we did a study, and this is a study done by TERI, which says that what is the CO2 equivalent of various types of fuels in a vehicle. And if you look at, if ICE engine petrol has about 190 gram equivalent of CO2, the diesel is about 170, the ICE CNG is about 143. The EV, because of the renewable quotient which is there, which is a little low today, is about 151. But if you look at the CBG potential, CBG is actually negative, and that's because of the virtuous cycle of the way in which the methane is absorbed and used, and also the CO2, the way in which the biogenic is used, helps in making this a carbon negative fuel. And this is something which is going to help us abate the methane emissions and also help us for sustainability. I'll now show you a picture that what different energy pathways can lead to sustainability and net zero objectives of India. India has decided that our net zero is going to be 2070. The world is decided as 2050. Our own imperatives and industrialization and our need for energy is going to push us towards zero to direction of maybe 2070. But if you look at, there are pathways which we saw earlier, electrification, using alternate fuels. In terms of feedstock arrangement, there is a possibility of this biomass are there. And in this, if you see, if number one is basically if your only electricity is decarbonized, that is something which shows that the net zero objective is going to be very, very difficult to meet. Okay, and it's almost, you can see that's very difficult. If CBG is available as business as usual, the potential which we are seeing today, what we are actually producing, it is number two, where still electrification and CBG is not really going to meet our objective. But if you use CBG and ethanol, okay, we will be able to reach our 2070 goal. But I think one thing which you will need to look at is point number 3, which is that if we are able to increase our CBG output in a very, very big way, as I demonstrated, maybe about 50 MMT, okay, by 2040 or 2050, there is a possibility that we will be able to achieve our net zero target much in advance. I think that's the kind of enablement which a CBG does in terms of both energy resilience as well as self-reliance. And this is only for the passenger car segment. But if you do the simulation for other segments too, it will show a similar kind of trend. And so therefore, CBG has a huge potential going forward. Also, if you look at CBG from an air quality perspective, ICE engine base, and if you see on the right hand side, the base fossil fuel vehicle, if it is X, you can actually reduce the particulate numbers which actually contribute to the AQI by about 90% if you use CBG. So that's the kind of potential which a CBG provides as a technology and as an energy source. And lastly, CBG can be a virtuous cycle. CBG along with ethanol, and that's what is shown here. By using agri-waste, by using crop farming, by using sugar, molasses, you can set up bioethanol plants. You can set up bio-CNG plants, and you can use waste to energy. All these factors will lead to biogas, will lead to manure, will lead to bioethanol. And when they can fuel vehicles, they can fuel CBG. The CBG can be used in industry, and the CBG can be used in homes. Question is, how do we develop this ecosystem? And that's, I think, going to be the panel discussion point. And all of this, benefit of the biogenic is going to help us in developing a sustainable ecosystem, a model for India in achieving our net zero objective maybe much earlier than 2070, in achieving our net zero objective maybe much earlier than 2070 if we follow this multi-pathway. And thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we should have going to achieve the target, and we are, taking a leap further in all the SDG targets. So, sir, we have with us Dr. Manish Shah. He doesn't need any introduction in this circle, but I must introduce him. This is my task. I find that he is a Lord Krishna of the animal husbandry system at this moment, and a big applause for him. He has taken all the time for Anand from his busy schedule to where the dairy movement has just started, where all the whatever we see today in the we are getting a glass of milk daily, so it is a credit goes to the Anand and his founder and Tribhuvan Das Patel and Korean. So, sir, be a big salute to you and your go ahead with that. So, please educate us with your chairman remark on this. How this net zero emission and the biofuel summit is going to be integrated. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinodji. Good afternoon, everybody. All the distinguished fellow panelists, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually a truly, honor to join all of you at this Pioneer Biofuels 360 Summit, a platform that is utilizing the best minds to reimagine India's energy future. I'm particularly grateful for the opportunity to chair this session on compressed biogas, a critical pillar of India's circular bioeconomy and a game changer in the rural energy landscape. We have seen a detailed presentation from Maruti. If we see the NDDB's vision, I think our mission has always been holistic to ensure that the prosperity of rural dairy farmers goes hand in hand with the environmental stewardship and the national priorities like the nutritional security or the energy security. And for the decades now, NDDB has supported millions of smallholder dairy farmers for building a robust cooperative-driven dairy structure. And today we are advancing that legacy by embedding circularity and the sustainability and the climate resilience into the rural systems. Our work in the biogas and manure management actually is a step forward, for this transition. Encouraged by the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, Waste to Wealth, I think we have all listened to that vision. And NDDB somewhere in 2018 thought that so far we have been focusing on milk for the older one, was civil and mortal type. The farmers were facing a lot of maintenance and repair challenges. So the subsidy was given, he will install it, but then the moment he has some repair problem or he is unable to maintain, those biogas plants were unutilized. So we came out with a flexible biogas plant. It's just a balloon. Those technologies were available. It doesn't need much repairs and maintenance. It's like a puncture in the cycle tube. Whenever you have some problem, you just teach it and you will not have any other problem. So we started giving this. The farmers were advised to put dung and water mixture into the pit, and a small biogas plant was set up. In fact, this, if farmer has 2 to 3 cows, the dung is sufficient for the family of about 6-7 people to meet the entire need of the cooking and also hot water in the winter for the family. This encourages us, we tried to saturate the villages. So 2 villages, around 300 to 500 households, which were actually managing the, which were in the animal husbandry, we gave everybody 1 biogas plant. And from 2018 today, 2025, for last 7 years, every single biogas plant is still used. So this then we started, seeing what are the other options. We worked out various financial options. So used by them, and government also saves a lot of subsidy. Then we realized that there are 8 crore farmers in our country who are involved in the animal husbandry, and bringing all of them with a small biogas plant is actually a Herculean task. And therefore we got the idea, can we have a centralized model where a large biogas plant is set up and you get the dung at a centralized place. And we set up 100 metric ton dung capacity plant in Varanasi. The 4,000 cubic meter biogas produced is used for the thermal energy to meet the needs of the dairy plant processing. We further got encouraged, and in Banas Dairy in Gujarat, we set up a biogas plant where the biogas was further purified, because you need almost 90-95% methane purity if we have to use for the vehicle mobility. The one which you get in the biogas, raw biogas, is about 50% methane. So we got the biogas purified, compressed, and we started using for the vehicle mobility. And this model, all these 3 models together gave us a lot of confidence that there is a need to replicate this, any model which is suitable for Banas Dairy in Gujarat. We set up a similar capacity biogas plant where the biogas was further purified, because you need almost 90-95% methane purity if we have to use for the vehicle mobility. The one which you get in the biogas, raw biogas, is about 50% methane. So we got the biogas purified, compressed, and we started using for the vehicle mobility. And this model, all these three models together gave us a lot of confidence that there is a need to replicate this, any model which is suitable for a particular locality. We will have to go all together. So today we have almost 35,000 smaller biogas plant installed at the farmer's backyard. We have 4 large capacity compressed biogas plants which uses only dung as the feed. We are working on mixing the cattle dung with some other agri waste to see that if the yield of the biogas can be improved and thereby the viability of this biogas plant can be improved. So this is something which has which has worked very well. The farmers are happy. They are getting the additional income, and as we had seen in the presentation, the byproduct of the biogas, after you get either the biogas or the compressed biogas, you get the fertilizer as the fertilizer. So I think we believe that CBG is the next frontier, as we have seen the detailed presentation earlier. Is more than just an alternative fuel. It's actually an enabler in terms of rural energy independence, low carbon agriculture, and the reduction of fossil LPG and diesel dependence. So I think with more than 302, I think to truly scale up this transition, we need some discussions in such in workshops. One is policy coherence between agriculture, energy, and the rural development. Innovative financing models, as I told, including cooperatives as the energy entrepreneurs, and the technology-enabled traceability to verify the emissions, what is the reduction, and also link them to the carbon credit platforms. So I think let us not forget that this green revaluation empowered farmers with the food security. The white revolution we had seen, it also brought them into the market economy. The green energy together, how we can use this dung which is available in the rural area through a wide network. We can use that on a vehicle mobility on a large scale. And I think to truly scale up this transition, we need some discussions in such in workshops. One is policy coherence between agriculture, energy, and the rural development.
Thank you, sir. Where there is a will, there is a way. Few years back, there was no CBG model. It was only in the theory, only in the IIT library, only in the research labs. But the NDDB has taken the lead and executed it, make it profitable, and that is what the country is so indebted to you and to the NDDB and to your whole team. So a big applaud for the NDDB team, please. And with your permission, sir, can I open the panel discussion? So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have with us a very great panelist. Again, the Raman effect is there. So, Dr. C.V. Raman is with us. You have heard him, his forecast that India is going to achieve the net zero emission target sooner than that of the developed countries. We do have with Mr. Giridhar, and he represents Ever and Enviro. He is MD and CEO. We have with us Dr. Dilip Kumar Khare. We do have another Dilip Kumar here. One we heard in Dilip Sanghani, another is Dilip Kumar Khare. And he is a technical advisor on the one and only World Biogas Association. So we do have with us one very prominent academician, and that's Dr. W. Selvamurthy. He is Honorable Chancellor of the world's largest private university, we can say, the Amity University. So we do have a very enriched panelist with us, from educationists to practitioners to Devdatta Deshpande from Thermax. Devta is always ahead of everything. So yours, sir, Thermax Bioenergy is a great, that's in Pune based, if I do remember. So welcome all of you, sir. And what is running in our mind is that we do have now compressed biogas, a business, a profitable venture, which Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare have also issued the directives for liquid farm manure and the other aspect. So there is a science behind that, and there is science behind DAP and rock phosphate and dependency on developed countries and a different kind of world which was ruling us, which was ruling our farmers. And then there is a business model here which is now established in packs to apex approach, packs to port approach, and packs to the global market approach. So it is from packs to apex model, what is cooperative economic framework, what the Honorable Union and Home Minister and the Cooperation Minister has executed. We do have a national cooperative policy in place with us, which very clearly defined agenda that what is going to be the state cooperatives, what is going to be, all packs are now multi-purpose. So very vibrant system we have about the cooperative economic framework. And this business, the private sector cannot do without cooperatives, without the organization at the grassroots level. And there comes the role of Mr. Dilip Sanghani and NDDV and primary agriculture credit cooperative societies and then multi-purpose societies and all. So because the cost will go very high. So this is a win-win situation for everyone. It's an additional income to the farmer, additional income to the rural India. So with this, I would just start with the last, because we say that Guru Govinda dono khade ka ke lage paun. So this university where you will going to create the human resource of the cutting edge, which will not only execute the dream of what the NDDB has envisioned, what the dream of Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned about the Sahakar se Samriddhi. So how this Amity University is going to, is still contributing, how it will contribute the dream of what the NDDB has envisioned, what the dream of Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned about the Sahakar se Samriddhi. So how this...
First of all, let me express my deep appreciation to the Pioneer Group for this wonderful initiative, very timely, and the topic which is globally relevant today. So my deep appreciation. Let's give a big clap to the Pioneer Group. All of us, let's give a great appreciation right from all those people who are here. You have a very distinguished panel. We had the presentation from Maruti, which gives the projections, where we stand, where should we go. And also we heard from the cooperatives with a lot of experience. Now as a scientist and the academician, I'm going to look at this perspective of the compressed biogas. See, my association with CBG as well as the biofuel started when I was in Defense Research and Development Organization. 2005, I launched a very big mission because you have so many military platforms which uses the conventional fuels. So if you have to choke the military operations, you don't give the fuels. Whether it is aircraft or it is tanks or it is infantry combat vehicles or even transport vehicles. You have a large, huge fleet. So we were looking at how do we become self-reliant in fuels using biofuel as one of the source. So that is how my journey started in DRDO, and I launched a very major mission of the first generation biofuel, which is Jetropa based. Because Jetropa based, it took some, but we didn't do it well in the country. Otherwise, our model, DRDO model, if we would have adopted, we would have succeeded. We looked at the germplasm, which gives the highest yield of the oil, because oil content is important if you have to translate into a biodiesel. So we looked at the germplasm globally as well as Indian varieties available to identify the germplasm of Jetropa, which gives the highest. Then we looked at the agricultural practices to give the best yield. So we cultivated in military farms. We adopted in 1,000 acres that we planted in different agroclimatic zones to see how does it grow, this germplasm. And then we didn't go for normal nursery raising because it's a highly cross-pollinated plant. So it will have a variety of, and the 4-ball ester, which is very toxic. So we wanted to remove this. So we identified the processes, chemical processes, so that it becomes 70%. So we looked at everything. Then we ran on the military platform looking at the torques, emission of gases. So my journey started with the first generation of biofuel. Then we actually demonstrated this. Everything, glycerol which comes as a byproduct, cake which is used, and the biomass, we created a process of gasification, and then this flue gas can run a micro turbine. So then it becomes economically viable. So we didn't do that. So that is why the first generation biofuel failed in our country, because we didn't do it properly. But then DRDO has a model which can be replicated.
Wonderful.
Now coming to Amity University, see, we have Institute of Renewable Energy. We have, because Dr. Ashok Chauhan, who has created this 13 universities in India, 18 campuses in villages, that's doing very well. So please let us make a mission, on a mission mode. This pioneer should take a lead to project to the Ministry of Petroleum and the Natural Gas that we must launch on a mission mode like a national solar mission, the biofuel mission, in which CBG and should get a very very big focus. I'll come again when there is a requirement. And Amity University, we are committed to this renewable energy and the biofuel, and we will partner with all those who are willing to work in this area. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there is an open invitation from the pioneer to have students, thousands of students integrated with this cooperative economic framework and this bioenergy model from JETREFA to China. So academicians sometimes get confuse you, and so then now we will go to the industry side with the permission of Honorable Chair. But I must tell you that from PM Govardhan Yojana to PM Pranam Namaste, there are so many schemes through which government is pushing these things. So my question will be to the Mr. Giridhar that Ever Enviro is one of the best organization when it comes to putting the bioenergy solution. There was a time of Deen Bandhu model. So from Deen Bandhu model to the current, where the planning commission of that time was, they were manipulating the things, and they were catapulting the things that every village and panchayat will have biogas from now. How this business model can grow, and how the small is beautiful kind of system what NDDB has proven, how do you perceive that CBG model in coming time for the future of those part which is very rich in biomass?
Can I sit here or I need to?
No, sir, please from there only.
Okay. Am I audible?
Sitting position is better than that
better
of the
position.
standing one.
So I think there is a model existing. I am from village, and we know 50 years back we used to set gobar gas plants, right, for our captive use. Okay, so that model was basically you have organic waste in your farm from cow dung or animal dung, and you are actually using your own PNG for going to the kitchen. Correct? There were thousands of that setup, right? Unfortunately, it died. It didn't grow much, right? I don't know reason, but I come from agriculture. I study agriculture, but in our own villages there were many, and slowly people could not take care of it well. They could not purify the gas, right? And it slowed down. It was a fantastic model because you can get energy, you can get organic fertilizer in your own farm from your own waste. It's the best model. I think the little improved model, better model was NDDB, I think, whereby you could capitalize on group of farmers, cooperative, you have 200 cows, and you are able to scale up. You can get a better scale. You have better bargaining power, you have better technology power, you can actually start putting up as well as a so-called purification system. Right? You're able to produce real CBG, not RBG. Right? So that's model Dr. Saab explained very well. What we are doing is a commercial model. I can talk more about commercial model and give you experience about the commercial model. So you have seen already Dr. Saab making presentation that abundance of agricultural feedstock available. We have abundance of municipal solid waste available. We have also scope of bioenergy crops, right, can be coming into this sector. If you can find a wasteland, don't grow bioenergy on a food crop land, because I come from food science side. So we have huge scope in terms of availability of the feedstock, right? Now, what we have done is that we have channelized this feedstock into a business model, right? So we have currently set up 6 projects in India, and we were the first one, honestly, from a private sector industry to bring in a private equity capital in the country, and we invested about $100 million by now. We were the first one to actually get into setting up India's largest municipal solid waste plant in Indore in cooperation with the Indore Municipal Corporation in PPP mode. So, and then we also ventured out into agri-feedstock, set up 2 projects in Punjab on paddy straw and 2 projects in UP on press mud, and today we have a installed capacity of about 80 tons per day. We are in a process of launching more. So, from a business model perspective, in a given time I cannot cover everything. I can only cover one feedstock throughout that. Let me just take a step there and explain to you about the municipal solid waste based project, which is in Indore, and I can talk about upstream, midstream, and downstream of that.
Too much of newspaper and the experience we had about the Indore one.
Okay.
So it's a really good model for the all the other municipalities to follow, and certainly we will learn out from that. What I will go again with in the second round, we will go for that if the organizer will permit the time.
Sure.
I will request our Devadatta Deshpande ji that Pune is the one which has Pune Municipal Corporation is the one which has issued the public interest. I think they are the one who has gone public limited, to raise money from the market, open market, and to innovate in the municipalities. So how do you see that in coming time, the kind of bioenergy machines that monopoly would go, and oligopoly and duopoly will be there in the private sector when it going to implement the bioenergy model? Very quickly, if you can throw light on that.
Again, I come from a sector where we are at present setting up close to 15 plants across the country on various agro-based feedstocks. So we can more talk about the agro-based feedstocks if you want, but we really don't know about the business model or what the municipalities at this point of time. So we'll be in a better position to share you what could be the challenges of setting commercial gas plants at this point of time. So we predominantly started our journey to set up rice straw based plants because stubble burning in the country was a big thing for our company, because we are a very environment friendly and very environment concerned company. And for us, one simple thing was 1K, if we 1 hectare of rice straw burnt causes huge amount of pollution, and if we generate, say for instance, CBG from one plant, a 10-ton plant, we can actually stop burning of stubble from 13,000 hectares of land every year. So that was our vision. So we believe that if the Indian CBG industry has to succeed, agro-based feedstock has to be predominantly looked at in this country. If really the vision, as Mr. Dr. Saab said, that India has to be carbon neutral by 2070, and 70% potential of the CBG is going to be realized from agro-based feedstocks. It is very important that the technologies, while the technology stabilize, the policy advocacy happens, the government sustains it, and we strongly believe that CBG should not be looked at CBG in isolation. If you just look in our regular life, a CBG vehicle or a CNG vehicle will give you 20 to 30 kilometers a kg, where the petrol just gives 15 to 20. So you just compare that, having the same calorific value, and in terms of policy advocacy, CBG industry will be a standalone industry which will be economically viable, and then the dream of becoming carbon neutral by 2050 would be a reality.
Thank you very much. I think we need association to confederate the biogas thing, and we do have with us none other than Mr. Khare, who is looking after the biogas association. How more it can become in the cooperative economic framework, which will help the country, help the nation. Over to you, sir.
I can perfectly from here. Thank you, Vinodji. And it's my pleasure to be here on World Biofuel Day. The pioneer is making this World Biofuel Day. And we remember that 1893, on 10th of August, Sir Ronald Diesel used the peanut oil and started engine. So let us celebrate, and we should give a little clap on this. This is the first starting point. So, Vinodji, you have put me in a very, in such a situation when all the people are there, Dr. Saha is here from NDDB. From my childhood, we are listening and learning him.
It's a great case of pioneer, sir. It's nothing mine.
NDDB model has been, earlier it was not promoted, but it was remained in Gujarat. Now we see it in entire world, India. So that is one. Second thing is the Maruti people have to come out with a very good presentation about the source and potential lies there. And he is very rightly mentioned about the 50 million tons of the CBG can be produced. I am fully agree because we have estimated about, I was in MNRE and we have estimated about 62 million tons from various sources. Presently we talk about agriculture residues, animal dungs, animal cattle dungs basically. And we have forget about, and we have taken about MSW, municipal solid waste. But we have to forget about somewhere about the sewage disposal, STPs. And the slush can be a very good, and the number of cities are coming up. Now I am in the World Biogas Association, which has come out with the global best practices for this. And when we talk about the government and MOPNG, we find that under Satat scheme, which has been planned with about 5,000 CBG plant to produce about 15 million tons. And my all friends were started, and about 108 plants are there, thousands are under implementation, but different level of implementation. Here, what is the certification? Confidence of the financial is not there. Confidence of the public is not there. How to raise this bar? The World Biogas Association has come out with making biogas happen. Making biogas happen will give you some solutions.
Wonderful.
Solutions.
Wonderful.
And we feel that this is one of the platform where the industry can be benefited.
Great.
Their life cycle cost assessment can be there. Carbon credit mechanism will be there. And innovative finance mechanism has to be developed. Vinodji, and I'm sorry, I'm just taking one more minute to sum up this, but the whole idea was that CBG, how to raise this CBG. I'm not talking about the competition between the liquid biofuel and gaseous biofuel. We have started in the 1986-87, the biomass program. When we are talking of solid gaseous and liquid fuel, all three will go on in the biomass sector. And one of the very challenging tasks, and my Indore plant, which is one of the best plant, and it has now started capacity attend, I think 95%. 95% capacity of the plant is that is 100%. In fact, he is saying 100%, I am reducing it. But whole idea is that how to scale it up. And thank you for giving me opportunity to speak here, but we can go and...
Certainly. And with this great discussion, what we had, very soon the Pioneer will come up with a knowledge paper integrating all thoughts, which will show even the global world how to go ahead of this session. That please conclude, sir, with your chairman address on this.
Abundance of agricultural feedstock available. We have abundance of municipal solid waste available. We have also scope of bioenergy crops, right, can be coming into this sector. If you can find a wasteland, don't grow bioenergy on a food crop land, because I come from food science side. So we have huge scope in terms of availability of the feedstock, right? Now, what we have done is that we have channelized this feedstock into a business model, right? So we have currently set up 6 projects in India, and we were the first one, honestly, from a private sector industry to bring in a private equity capital in the country, and we invested about $100 million by now. We were the first one to actually get into setting up India's largest municipal solid waste plant in Indore, in cooperation with the Indore Municipal Corporation in PPP mode. So, and then we also ventured out into agri-feedstock, set up 2 projects in Punjab on paddy straw, and 2 projects in UP on press mud, and today we have an installed capacity of about 80 tons per day. We are in a process of launching more. So, from a business model perspective, in a given time, I cannot cover everything. I can only cover one feedstock throughout that. Let me just take a step there and explain to you about the municipal solid waste based project, which is in Indore. And I can talk about upstream, midstream, and downstream of that.
Too much of newspaper and the experience we had about the Indore one.
Okay.
So it's a really good model for the all the other municipalities to follow, and certainly we will learn out from that. What I will go again with in the second round we will go for that if the organizer will permit the time.
Sure.
I will request our Devdatta Deshpande ji that Pune is the one which has, Pune Municipal Corporation is the one which has issued, the public interest. I think they are the one who has gone public limited, to raise money from the market, open market, and to innovate in the municipalities. So how do you see that in coming time, the kind of bioenergy machines that monopoly would go, and oligopoly and duopoly will be there in the private sector when it going to implement the bioenergy model? Very quickly, if you can throw light on that.
Again, I come from a sector where we are at present setting up close to 15 plants across the country on various agro-based feedstocks. So we can more talk about the agro-based feedstocks if you want, but we really don't know about the business model or what the municipalities at this point of time. So we'll be in a better position to share you what could be the challenges of setting commercial gas plants at this point of time. So we predominantly started our journey to set up rice straw-based plants because stubble burning in the country was a big thing for our company because we are a very environment friendly and very environment concerned company. And for us, one simple thing was 1K, if we, 1 hectare of rice straw burnt causes huge amount of pollution. And if we generate, say, for instance, CBG from one plant, a 10-ton plant, we can actually stop burning of stubble from 13,000 hectares of land every year. So that was our vision. So we believe that if the Indian CBG industry has to succeed, agro-based feedstock has to be predominantly looked at in this country. If really the vision, as Mr. Dr. Saab said, that India has to be carbon neutral by 2070, and 70% potential of the CBG is going to be realized from agro-based feedstocks, it is very important that the technologies, while the technology is stable,
like maize and broken rice, which can be used for ethanol production. So we have this industry-led session wherein we appreciate this remarkable achievement and journey of ethanol in India. We further look into the opportunities, the challenges which have been there, the roadblocks which have been there, and how further we scale it up and make ethanol a cornerstone of India's sustainable energy future. The session is going to be again moderated by Dr. Binod Anand. But before I invite the panelists, we'll have a presentation first. So we'll have the presentation first, and this is a presentation by Assam Bamboo Ethanol Private Limited. Now this stands as an example of large-scale biofuels enterprise with linkages to the grassroots with regard to feedstock, with the potential of positively impacting lakhs of northeastern India village households. So I invite the presenter from Assam Bamboo Ethanol Private Limited for the presentation, which is going to be further setting the tone and the context of our panel discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pranav Nath, and I'm representing Numaligarh Refinery Limited. And I'm very much delighted to be presenting before you. So, already the theme of the presentation is already been described. So, I'm going to showcase before you how the bamboo supply chain is being designed. This Assam Bioethanol Private Limited, it is the first of its kind bamboo to fuel ethanol making plant in the nation. And very soon we are going to be operational, which is going to be inaugurated on 8th of September this year. So, yeah. Okay. So, just to skim through the slides because there is, shortage of time. So, to the left side of the slide, I am showing the trend of increase in temperature. Then again, the CO2 level in the atmosphere. So that is all due to different, reasons, human-made reasons. So as a solution to this thing throughout the world, different schemes have been designed, which is focusing on primarily on biofuel. So as a result of that, different projects have come out throughout the throughout the world, and to the right side of the slide, I am showing what are the developments in India. And among them, one is the bioethanol plant where I belong from. So Assam Bioethanol Private Limited, the foundation stone was laid in back in 2019, and now the project is in 99.9%, and very soon we are going to be operational. So this is just to give a glance of what is going on at site. These are the views of the different, these plants. We have a raw bamboo handling plant and fractionation unit, followed by washing and hydrolysis, chemical recovery, and whatever is left out after all the chemical processing, that will be used for making electricity. So this is overall schematic of the whole process, from where we are starting with bamboo biomass, and we will be making 5 products. These are the 5 products, and we are following or based on this national biofuel policy, which ultimately aims to benefit the farmers. So bamboo is the main feedstock for our refinery, and we are well aware of the different uses of bamboo. And in addition to that, we are making fuel grade ethanol out of it. So this is a chemistry behind this biorefinery. Bamboo mainly, it has 3 prime components: cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. From cellulose we are getting ethanol, and after fermentation we are getting food grade CO2. From hemicellulose we are making acetic acid, followed by furfural, a high value industrial chemical. And from the lignin part, because it is having calorific value, we are getting electricity. So bamboo, it is very much profusely available. So many species are there, and it has already been categorized under to be a premium cash crops. And in addition to that, we are now using this for fuel grade ethanol production. So this is a report that is being made by Forest Service of India in 2023. This report gets updated every 2 years. So this shows that all the northeastern states, they are very much rich in bamboo diversity as well population. So we are taking the benefit of this availability. So what are the priority species that are being used in our plant? We are mainly focusing on 7 species. This list is not exhaustive, just an indicative one. The biomass, which the bamboo species which gives more yield per unit farm area. So Tulda, Balcoa, Nutans, and these are the name of those species. Mainly we are focusing on those species which are rich in cellulose, less in lignin, more in hemicellulose content. So the sourcing will be doing from 4 neighboring states: Assam, primarily Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, and Meghalaya. 18 districts from Assam, 4 from Arunachal, Nagaland, and 1 from Meghalaya. So this is a value chain design that has been done. We will be directly in touch with the farmer communities, forest communities, as well as joint forest management committees. The farmer can sell directly their farm produce to our refinery. They will be onboarded into our system, and payment will be done directly to their bank account. And in between, we can see the harvesting cum interim service provider, who will help to ensure that bamboo reaches our plant in the timely manner. So in the whole value chain, we will be employing some 30 to 40,000 people in the value chain. Ultimately, we will be contributing to the green job. So this is a model of decentralized bamboo processing unit, which will be there in all the districts throughout the sourcing states. And this is in a bird's eye view of the area from where sourcing will be done. And how to manage the big number of stakeholders that will be associated with us. For that, one in-house supply chain software solution has been made. This is done by Tata's consultancy service, and wherein we have different modules and different aspects of technologies have been incorporated, wherein all the farmers will be having their own account. They can view their transaction in a timely manner. So obviously, this is a very huge task to manage so many of stakeholders and nodal agencies. So we are collaborating with all the nodal agencies and state bodies, so that we can work for the farmers aspect, and we can address all the issues. And along with sourcing, we are also prioritizing the energy farming area. And with the help of state forest department, we are working with them and agriculture universities for let farmers know how to do energy farming in a bigger scale, in an industrial way. So this is just a yield chart for let people know how much they can expect per unit of farm area. And this is obviously some glimpse of the collaboration we are doing. And for the purpose of giving good quality planting material, we have associated with tissue culture facilities, government bodies, forest departments, so that farmers can get good high-yielding varieties of bamboo. And these are the core driving principles, and we are implementing that in the ground. So ultimately, these are the broader prospect. Bamboo, as we are all aware that this can sequester huge amount of carbon, 17 ton per hectare per year. So overall, the project is going to protect bamboo plantation, which can capture as much as 170 million metric ton per year, 1,000 metric ton per year. And in a whole, yeah. So this is almost the end of my slide. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing how your project is delivering on socio, enviro and economic benefits. I first invite, as we take this panel discussion, inviting our respected chair to please grace today's Ms. Vibha Dhawan, the Director General of TERI, a leading voice in sustainable energy and climate leadership in India. And to welcome her, I would like to once again invite Mr. Prakash Vivek, the CEO of the Pioneer, to kindly accord her a floral welcome.
Pleasure to have you here with us.
And to further felicitate her by presenting the show. Thank you. I now invite the moderator of the session, once again having Mr. Vinod Anand to be joining us. Oh, he's already there on the dais. Thank you. Our eminent speakers panelist, Mr. S.K. Shukla, the President of the UP Distillers Association, representing the key role of the sugar and ethanol industry in India's biofuel roadmap. We have Mr. Vikram Gulati, the country head and the Executive Vice President of Toyota Kirloskar, driving sustainable mobility solutions aligned with India's green energy goals. Mr. Sanjay Ganju, the Director General of the Indian Federation of Green Energy, committed to accelerating the transition towards renewable and cleaner fuels. Dr. Nutan Kaushik, the Director General of Amity Food and Agriculture Foundation, bringing deep expertise in agri-innovation and sustainable food systems, and Mr. Ravi Gupta, the Executive Director at SHRI Renuka Sugars, one of India's largest integrated sugar and ethanol producers, contributing significantly to India's biofuel ambitions. Can we have a round of applause, a big hand for all our very distinguished panelists, learned panelists present here on the dais. With that, we start the panel discussion, handing over to our moderator.
Don't have a hand mic. So I straight away am not going to lose the time. I'm having very challenging time. The good thing is that we have a panel of speakers, very experienced, very renowned and very long. And the bad news is that I don't have time. So one more panelist, Dr. Ravi Kumar, we are awaiting. So kindly please join us. Dr. Ravi Kumar, Ravi Gupta.
KTS Pawan Kumar.
Okay, KTS Pawan Kumar. I'm really sorry to pronounce your name wrong. From the Catalyst Group. He is a Vice President, Research and Development. I do request straight away Ms. Vibha Dhawan to please take the mic, and TERI is a renowned institution, and very briefly give her the panel chair address.
Thank you so much. In fact, we are really short of time, and
in a way, what I thought of introducing the topic. We all have heard a lot since morning that bioethanol is extremely important for not just the economy of this country, it's also because we are looking at cleaner fuel. Let's also look at what are the other opportunities that it offers us. Because we have studied biology and we know that photosynthesis is the basis whether we are talking of fossil fuels. It goes without saying geopolitically what is happening at the global level, it's all more or less fight for oil. So therefore, the self-sufficiency for energy becomes extremely important for any country. Now, what are the strengths of India? In a way, it is that in terms of climate, in terms of biodiversity, we can grow lots of crops. Round the year, our productivity is pretty high. It's also the other thing is that agriculture residue, which today we are looking more as a problem, they are actually raw material to produce bioethanol. Of course, there are technical challenges in terms of production cost and in terms of the, I should say, storage, dispensation, and last few days, I'm sure you're also witnessing with E20 a kind of debate. Is it safe for my car? Is it safe for old cars? Do I need to get my engine tuned? And thus the consumer also has choice to choose whether they want to go for the conventional fossil fuel or they should go for the blended fuel. So there are lots of questions asked. Now, and since we are short of time, I would like to straight away go to my panelists, very eminent people, basically to look into or just answer one question, what do they think in terms of energy transition that we are talking about, what role ethanol can play, both potential and challenge. And also talk a bit about E20, talk about ESG if possible, and the sustainable development goals that we are hoping to meet. And India, I should say, will be a pioneering country because for us, importing fossil fuels is too expensive. And if we want our country to grow, we need to do decentralized energy production, and bioethanol is a great opportunity. So I'll first come to Mr. S.K. Shukla, President, UP Distillery Association. So Shukla ji, straight away on this question of ethanol's strategic role in India's clean energy future.
Thank you. See, considering the time constraint, I would like to highlight few points, which is really required for the policy maker of the country. See, the ethanol, especially from the grain, it started in 1718 with only 10 crores liters. With the positive approach of the government, you're surprised to note that this year we are going to complete 800 crores liter within the short span of 7 years. Indeed, for the country like India, where the most challenges, this was a great success. But how this success happened, we have to think. This is the only main role is the crop change, rise from paddy to maize. And this year we are expecting 42 million tons of maize production in India with the national average of approximately 3.65 tons per hectare. Whereas in some part of the states like Bihar, the productivity is around 12 million tons, 11 to 12 million tons. So we have the ample scope. We can go up to 42 million tons to more than 100 million tons in the coming years, provided we have the seed, quality of seed should be equivalent to the advanced country like USA. Second, the starch. Starch is the main which gives better recovery of the ethanol and better value to the farmers. Second, The whole agronomy practices which give more revenue to the farmers should be extremely mechanized, because you know the land size in the India is very less as compared to the developed countries. So we have to mechanize to reduce the cost of production by local for vocal, you know, to strengthen the farmers. This is the high requirement. Third one is the logistics support. Logistics is a very important role to reduce the cost to the farmer as well as the industry. And whatever we produce, this is the very important how we can preserve. So this is the very important. A lot of food grains is going to, you know, the spoil because of the moist, because of the keeping conditions, storage conditions. So I think most research, most investment is required for the well-equipped warehouses. So I have to tell a lot of things, but I think
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Chair ma'am, we do have with us Dr. K.K. Tripathi ji. He is Joint Secretary of the Prime Minister Economic Advisory Council and is supposed to give keynote address. We do have some time crisis also, so we request Dr. K.K. Tripathi to please join us here. Please give him a hand of applause, and we welcome you, sir. And to deliver your keynote address first, then we will go for a panel discussion. Over to you, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Distinguished guests on the dais, honorable dignitaries, delegates, and friends. It's an honor for me to be here amongst all of you to share a few words, and also a privilege to be here at this August gathering, a gathering where we are discussing about Biofuel 360. And the innovators are here, the incubatees are here, the policy makers are also here, the industry leaders, the community leaders. So there is a good synergy sync here in this particular roundtable, these conferences. I'm going to talk on a very, converged, coordinated kind of topic, thematic topic before you. I'll basically put some igniting points before you so that you can think about how to connect it with the community. But to begin with, let's understand our demand for oil, our projected demand for oil. The OPEC, data says the oil demand is going to be doubled. It is hardly from, right now it is 5.1 million barrels per day in 2022-23, and it is going to go beyond 11 million barrel per day by 2045. And if we think about 2050, it can go beyond 14 million barrel per day. So that is the market that we can see. The diesel demand is basically a key component, friends, but it's also expected to climb. It climb at a very progressive rate from 2 million billion barrel per day to 4.9 million barrel per day by 2050. Basically, we need to understand, the curve of demand, where exactly it is going to be peak, where exactly it is going to decline. The petrol demand is going to rise depending upon the automobile sector, depending upon the demand coming from the consumers. And it is going to rise up to 2023, 21, 31 or 32, and thereafter the inflection point will come and then it will gradually decline. Diesel consumption is also projected to peak up to 2047. That is, the government thinks that by that 2047 will become Viksit Bharat, and it will reach approximately 6.4 kind of your exajoule in 2024. But what exactly we want? We want that this Viksit Bharat 2047 has to, that particular dream has to be realized. In that context, we have to have a leap. So we have to actually witness a leap from what? From the developing to developed. So here we have to ensure that the energy security has to be there. So where exactly the energy security will come from? Who would be the stakeholders? Who can be actually the catalyst in this particular phenomena, that is secured phenomena at the to 2047, and whether we can bring along this rural economy, rural prosperity along, and at the time when the community is being called for that climate leadership. So whether that climate leadership is going to happen at the urban areas, peri-urban areas, or the rural areas. So the answer lies that in how other nations, they have actually brought their community along in their policies, the national policies. So I have just jotted down a few points that there are few leading biofuel nations who have actually given due attention to their own communities. Like the first one is Brazil. You can see that it's you have been getting the good feedback from our learned expert panels. But the thing is that the flex fuel vehicles, those are common nowadays. But the biofuel cooperative should be there. So those are actually being driving that particular steam in Brazil. They are actually embedded into your local farming framework or farming networks. In USA is dominating global ethanol production. They are using corn. The guest panelists was highlighting that point with respect to Bihar and all, how they can come along. Then viable productions, it supports hundreds and millions of rural communities in USA. So we need to understand what is the job creation capacity of these rural communities. How we can actually synergetically engage those rural communities into our own activities. European Union, they are focusing on biodiesel. They are using cooking oils, animal fats, and many things. They are actually, they're also a pivot, a vocal for circular economy, and also there are many recycling projects which are actually being run by the help of the community. Indonesia and Malaysia, so they're using palm oil for B30, B40 kind of biodiesel vehicles. And this is their mandate. They're actually serving their mandates. And but at the same time, they're utilizing the village level cooperatives. So the associations are there, and it is integrated into their national policy. So we can't bypass our policy into action. So when we are thinking that action has to come, so that has to also integrate into our policy framework. Then the question comes, how biofuels can meet the future demand? So there are many, expert panels. They are here. They would be able to tell you that the ethanol blended kind of petrol protocol that we are following, India has rapidly actually advanced its ethanol blending. 11-12% of blending has already been done. So we are all going ahead of schedule. So 20% target that we are going to achieve. And we are going to replace actually imported oil, fuel, and the import burden, the import dependency, that is going to reduce. And depending upon the geopolitical situation which is happening right now, so we can understand that once we advance our technologies, we'll be able to do it. There are the biofuels also, we should not undermine CBG. There are also ethanol, second generation ethanol plants. I had an opportunity to visit one of the plants, basically the R&D center in Pune, done by Taj Industries, and also I had an opportunity to talk to some experts in Panipat and in Bargarh, and also some refinery people who were instrumental in developing that plant in Assam. So it's wonderful actually having one particular policy on giving some directions, but the thing is that we need to have some kind of synergy with the community, because where exactly this waste material from the agriculture field will come from, how it has to be aggregated, who will aggregate it, who will actually after compilation aggregation, who will actually give the logistic support, where it has to go from the community or from the field to reach at the plant's godowns. Compressed biogas CBG that's going to actually be blended into CNG PNG, and we have got all the targets like 1, 3, 4, 5% targets during this 2025-2030 kind of period. So I hope that if we could understand that what our cooperatives, what our FPOs, farmer produce organizations, self-help groups, joint liability groups, and those associations which are actually working in the rural areas, they can be plugged. Their efforts can be plugged in. They can also be coordinated by the machineries at the grassroots level. Then it would be wonderful in making this happen. Then comes, do we have any options for energy diversification? I said yes, because every time you open a channel, you see that EV, electronic vehicles adoption and energy efficiency kind of activity that we have to adapt to. So there are excessive oil demand, but we have to reduce this oil demand through these kind of activities. And our International Energy Agency, they say that for a period up to 2030, these measures are projected to save India around 480,000 barrels per day oil demand. So that means the time has come to actually think through that how we can make this synergy, how can we connect the last mile. Then India's strength actually lies not just in its resources. We have a lot of resources. We could convince our oil refineries, oil companies to help establish 12, 13 plants, that 2nd generation plants, biofuel plants. But we have to actually got to understand that our strength lies with our people. So there is a bridge. So we have to actually connect two sides of the bridge. There is a gap. So to bridge the gap with leading nations, we must make the biofuel movement community-driven, cooperative-led, and village-based. Basically, I'm a bureaucrat, but I believe in cooperatives. I believe in the bottom-to-up approach. So why I say so? Because whenever I'm actually drawing a plan on a paper, sitting in AC chamber in Delhi, I'm thinking about the progress in cities. So I need to understand that okay, the plants may come in cities, but that is not going to be suffice. So our biofuel plants, they should not just be massive industrial units near the cities, near the metropolitan areas, but they should be set up in rural areas, in tribal areas who need it most. Why I'm saying so? Because we have farmers who are poor. There are 14.5 crore farmer households in India. So 85 to 90% of the farmer households, they have land resources less than 1 hectare of land. Fragmentation of land is happening because of the population explosion. So in that context, we need to actually ensure some kind of income to our farmers, to our youth, to the self-help groups, to joint liability groups, to cooperatives, because we have around 91 lakh self-help groups who are working here in India, and there are around 12 crore people. They are actually jointly expending their efforts in various activities in the rural areas. And around 8.54 lakh cooperatives with 29 to 30 crore members attached to these cooperatives. So what should they do? So we have planned about the second generation biofuel fuel revolution, but what should be their roles and responsibility? So they should collect and process agri-waste, operate small-scale ethanol and biogas units, supply local fuel needs, and earn some income out of that. This will basically ensure decentralization of whatever activity that we want to decentralize, and also it will have community ownership. It will generate that kind of emotion at the community. Basically, it is a successful kind of venture that we are going to establish. How to strengthen the cooperatives? If supposing we want them to be anchors in biofuel revolution. We have sugar cooperatives. You may be knowing that there are around 2,000 sugar mills or sugar factories which are registered in Maharashtra only. You may be knowing about Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat, who are actually first movers as far as the sugar factories are concerned in cooperative sector. In Maharashtra, there are 208 sugar factories which are operating right now. In the last crushing season, they were operating. Out of which half, that is 104, sugar mills were from the cooperative sector. In that context, you see sugar, dairy. There are a lot of dairy cooperatives are there, agri cooperatives, and we can actually evolve into multi-energy hubs. So we can produce ethanol, we can set up small-scale ethanol units, and we can also help being a catalyst as far as the biogas product producers and also producer of the organic fertilizers, which will be the byproduct of this biogas plant. Then you ask that how will they do? So whether support will come from any government, private, or cooperatives are actually independent economic units. SHGs are also the same. They are created on the same principle. Government can support with by helping these cooperatives, SHGs, the JLGs, acquiring technology, training, and markets. So, what will happen? What will we gain? If we do that, if we actually work in the cooperation spirit, the spirit where SHGs, JLGs, and cooperatives, community organizations, they can come in this sector, then they will ensure fair price to the farmers. Then we can localize the ethanol production. We can, give a good logistic system to the plants, and also the profits will stay within the community, within the members. Then. we have to educate the public and auto sector basically on E20 vehicle compatibility and retrofitting. That is the need of the hour. We have to actually meet the dream of Viksit Bharat 2047. This dream is with us. The manufacturing revolution has to happen.
So that is not, he doesn't pay more tax on a flexi fuel clean vehicle compared to a petrol vehicle, and the difference in fuel cost, operating cost, is favorable to him. Last, the most important stakeholder, the farmer and people who are growing and converting farm produce to ethanol or waste to ethanol. You have to enable a policy environment that recognizes carbon neutrality of ethanol. That is essential to get carbon credits. That is essential to earn money, and this is what Brazil has done. They have a robust system of carbon, carbon counting, carbon auditing, and the farmers and producers there, the ethanol producers are getting carbon credits. And I would urge through this platform, we must make this we must play a role of being the leader of Global Biofuel Alliance by also making international recognition of this aspect. Because in the future, it's not only about getting carbon credits globally to India, but it's also about geopolitical considerations, because tomorrow the international trade and international dynamics will be determined by carbon intensity of each country's economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Gulati ji. I'll straight away turn to Mr. Kanchu, and the point which Mr. Gulati made just now, and that was talking more about that our entire working is more towards urban centric. We are basically, and he ended with that, where are our farmers? Because that is what we are ignoring our farmers, and rather than just looking at producer for biofuels or the raw material for biofuel production, is it something over and above the carbon credits? Is it something over and above ecosystem services that they are doing that they should be credited for? And biofuels to me is also lifeline for their development, because unless and until our rural India develops, we can't call ourselves a developing nation. So therefore their development is very essential. So what do you feel that biofuel-led cooperative models, will they work in our country? And SDG to ESG narrative, can we really get it embedded in the rural growth?
Yeah, see, I think there are 2-3 things we need to work when we talk about the farming community. The backbone of biofuels, if we are talking about, the backbone is farming community, and we need to address their concerns. But our experience with respect to ethanol, 20% blending, is that farmers have benefited. Almost 1 lakh crore rupees has gone to the farming community because we converted that, their produce into fuel, and which has ultimately saved us some foreign exchange also. So, if we have to make them stakeholders, we need to, make a plan. As Mahesh was rightly saying, that we need to make an energy as well as, I must say, food, strategy plan also, so that based on the availability of feedstock, based on the availability of land resources, based on the availability of water, how we can manage the farm sector, which ultimately can cater to our food and which can ultimately cater to our fuel requirements. And it is possible. We should not unnecessarily get unnerved by the debate of farm to fuel, which generally is, which may be true for Europe, but not for India. We have sufficient land, but the only thing is management and, making the farmers stakeholders of that, passing on the, benefits of this economy towards them, so that they become partners in the growth. One major concern I somehow feel is that the fragmentation of land which has happened in the country, that is number one, if it reduced the efficiency of the land in terms of cultivation. Number two, it has reduced the interest of farmer to cultivate the farmland, because he is not getting that the volumes of returns which he should generally get. And third, though it's a controversial subject, when we talk about the doles which we are passed on to the farmers on different schemes, maybe they have to be regulated in such a manner so that it is efficiency based, yield based. So once that happens, I think we can address this issue, and the farming community can definitely benefit from this sector. Carbon credits, definitely yes. An aggregation model can be worked out so that they can also benefit from that. Whatever carbon credits, carbon economy which are which can be created out of that, they are also beneficial and beneficiaries to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi Gupta. If you can add further to what we are discussing on this particular topic.
The farmer loss. Today with this ethanol program, maize prices has come to the MSP level. So the benefit of whole ethanol program actually is reaching to the farmers in reality. And I must tell you, and I thank Vikramji for removing this malicious campaign which was going on, and he replied it so well. Along with that, I'll tell you that as a citizen of this, as Indian, we must be proud of something which I'm going to tell you now. In 2013-14, our ethanol blending program was only to an extent of 35 crore liters. And this year, we might end up doing it 1,000 crore liters. And we have the fastest growing ethanol program in the world. And we are not stopping. We are just not stopping. We are going ahead, as Mr. Vikram also mentioned, that we are going now, the next step is flex fuel cars. And now, Vibhaji, one question which you wanted, what is the way forward? The way forward is, for 20% ethanol, we needed around 1,000 crore liters of ethanol. We already have the capacity cars. We will have to make provisions so the consumer gets the car at a price, which is economical for him and which compares with the other fuel. So there, I tell you, energy balance is around 9. For others, it would be less. So it makes perfect sense, and we should sometime pat our back for the policies which the government has, which has inserted so much income into the rural sector. And I think these malicious campaign will last for little, and we are going to go forward in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in fact, you very rightly mentioned, both Vikram and you, that somewhere it is fear of unknown, and it is that what is going to happen, what's going to happen to my car, while car manufacturers are taking adequate precautions. And in a way, maybe like any new technology, there might be hiccups, but we have to find a way, because it's not just automobiles. It is that when come November and all Delhiites start thinking, is Delhi a livable city? We can't stop running cars, and therefore we have no other choice, and we should compliment the government that we have reached this target of 20% blending much ahead of schedule. I'll now come to Nutan, Dr. Nutan Kaushik, and that is, there is a lot of debate going on, food versus fuel. And that is largely, and very rightly mentioned, yes, farmer is able to earn money now because both sugarcane and maize, they are in high demand. The other fact also is that we have started importing maize. So instead of fuel, perhaps we are importing feedstock and maybe food in years to come. So do we really want that? And what is your opinion? What other feedstocks can be used? Are we ready with those feedstocks? And is there any possibility of raising maize production as well?
Thank you, Dr. Vibha. Very pertinent question, because we always talk about the food, feed, and the fuel. They are the nexus of the three together, because food is human energy, and feed is animal energy, and the fuel is the vehicle energy, like our mobility and all that depends on that. So all three are fuels for different purposes, one for human being, one for animal, and the other for our transportations. But if we talk about the pyramid, the human being comes at the top. So we cannot do anything, we cannot diversify any food to the fuel purposes, but certainly we have to look for the alternative if we really want to if we want to have the future ready. To be the future ready, we should not think like we are already thinking. The research is already going on the 2G ethanol. And 2G ethanol is nothing but these crop residues. Rather than burning them, why not to use them for the biofuel production? But in biofuel production, in the morning session, we were talking about the biogas production. There also, we were talking about the using of the crop residues. Here we are talking about the ethanol production. Here also we are talking about the use of the crop residues for the ethanol production. So where is the balance? Where should we focus on? Should we focus on the biogas production, or should we focus on the bioethanol production? That we need to take a balanced look at this one. But if we talk about this, if we see this as a circular economy, then probably whatever, even if we use the residue for the biogas production, after the biogas production, we see that there are residues are left over, the solid residues, and that can be used for the ethanol production. We have never seen that angle. We are already directly using that, whatever the spent is produced from the biogas production, we are using it manure directly. But there is a lot of potential lignocellulosic biomass present in that spent, but we have never thought of. So we must do the comprehensive research where we target, we meet the like food, feed and the fuel all together from the one source. Secondly, we also need to provide the right varieties to the farmer, which produce the biomass as well as the food in a proper ratio, so that the biomass can be used for the fuel purposes and the food can be, the grains and other things can be used for the food purposes. Like for example, the what you call the dual purpose sorghum. The dual purpose sorghum is a very good example. The sweet sorghum is a very good example. We use the same sorghum for the food purposes as well as for the fuel purposes. So breeding, the science has to play a very critical role in breeding the right varieties, providing the right feedstocks, and the quality of the feedstock is very important. The making it to cost-effective hydrolysis, enzymatic hydrolysis is very important, and to make that cost effectiveness, the breeding, the varieties will also play a critical role. And then we also need to develop right kind of methods. So this nexus will always go on, but we need to focus on the 2G ethanol to be the future ready. And in future, we also have to go on the 3G, like the, what you call the microorganism based ethanol production. So all these, like the algal biomass used for the ethanol production. So all these things, research will keep on going, but we have to make it cost effective and also decentralize the production. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kaushik, for bringing these points. And that reminds me that the only thing constant in this world is change. And that is what, like few years back, Green Revolution was based on, that let's make the crops draft so that plucking or collecting grains becomes simpler. Now we have machines available, so can we look into the opportunity of that there is tall varieties of wheat so that you get biomass which can be converted into ethanol without compromising on yield. And that is what, it's also becoming a multidisciplinary science today. We cannot simply say it is that I need engineers who work on bioethanol production or biochemical pathways for bioethanol production. We need enzymes. We rather need storage. We have to look into how do I increase the shelf life, and right from the raw material production which comes from plants. So it's multidisciplinary science which is emerging today, and very important to find solutions. I'll come to Mr. Pawan Kumar, who is Vice President R&D, the Catalysts Group. So coming to you, I look forward to hearing from you what kind of innovations are being made and what are our future plans for innovating or finding solutions to whatever we have heard, because the bottom line is, do I have adequate raw material? Will it be cost effective for me? Because in years to come, I'll say we all are conscious of the environment, but maybe over and above that, today, unfortunately, we are more worried about the finances.
Yeah. So, good evening all. So, when it comes to the economics and then cost effectiveness of production of ethanol, so a lot of advancement has come. With respect to the advancement in various sciences, currently we are able to exactly identify or decipher the composition of the raw material. So when we know the raw material exactly how it is in the given feedstock, accordingly the enzymes were developed to break it down in such a way that these feedstock will be converted into more fermentable sugars. So in such a way, lot of advancements has come. Just to give you one example, where up to few years back, I think we were more used to have this jet cooking process in the liquefaction of the grains. At that time, we used to have 90-95 degrees of temperature. But due to the enzymes which were developed to work at the lower temperature, there is almost a 10 degree of delta. Now we are able to do this liquefaction at 80-85 degrees. So this is going to save a huge amount of cost to the ethanol producers. So not only that, another aspect is when we go for the recycling of these streams, the fermented streams. When we use these streams into the liquefaction process, the pH of the system used to go down, where to increase it to the desired quantity, we used to add a lot of chemicals. But now the technological advancements has come into a stage where the enzymes can even work at the lower pH, which is also saving a lot of cost on the chemical aspects, like dosing a lot of chemicals into the system, which is actually making the effluent also more cleaner, so that the producers can spend less amount of money in terms of treating it. So in that way, a lot of advancements are going on, and a lot more to come in future. So companies like Catalyst, Novozymes, and these people are consistently working on improving these things.
Thank you so much. We come to the end of this session. I'm so sorry I can't come for the second round of questions, because I'm sure you all are looking forward to hearing the Minister. So we are very glad to announce that he's on his way, and he should be here in another 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm sure you all are longing to hear from him what are the future policies and achievements of this government. So thank you so much for being part of this particular panel discussion. All my panelists, I'd like all of you to give a big applause. Thanks to all of you, and you all have been great listeners. Thanks to all of you as well. Thank you.
We'll quickly have a group photograph of all the panelists, and then we close the session, setting the stage for the Honorable Minister as he joins us. Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, is going to be joining us in this special session when we have a fireside chat with the Honorable Minister that's going to be moderated by a seasoned journalist, Mr. Kushan Mitra. And the Honorable Minister is also going to be presenting the awards. We have the Biofuels 360-degree awards being presented at the hands of the Minister, sir.
Apart from aiming at holistic development of a young population, the university has a clear and unwavering focus on enhancing scientific temperament within the higher education. Founded under the visionary leadership of Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan Amity University has broadened the knowledge spectrum of an emerging India.
Research and innovation is the backbone for the growth and development of any nation, and especially that the world moving so fast, the importance of research and innovation becomes more important.
At Amity, we have a true passion under the vision of our founder, Dr. Chauhan, to focus on research, innovation, and for the upliftment of our country.
At Amity, apart from education, research and training, we also believe that we must be active in entrepreneurship promotion. We have the Amity Innovation Incubator. The incubator is today helping develop and supporting entrepreneurial ventures, out of which quite a few have been companies started by our students and faculty. We have a vertical that is focusing on food technologies and allied areas, and we also have a center which is called the Center for Rural Innovation and Social Entrepreneurship.
Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India has recognized Amity's extraordinary achievements in the area of research and innovation and conferred National IP Award 2020 to Amity University.
India, the land of a billion dreams. Dreams that would make us sustainable and self-reliant. Dreams of growing together in a future-ready world. Dreams personifying Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Through our constant pursuit of innovation, at Gale, we energize such dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in extending a very warm and a cordial welcome to Honorable Shri HARDEEP Singh Puri ji, our Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, as he joins us to grace this very special session wherein we have a fireside chat with him. Someone who's been a steadfast champion of biofuel revolution and energy transition, someone who has placed biofuels at the center of India's energy diversification strategy, a minister under whose leadership we have been able to achieve the ethanol blending targets much ahead of time, almost 5 years, and a minister who's now driving the flexi fuel vehicle strategy and India's role in global biofuel alliance. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join us as we extend a very warm and a cordial welcome, thanking the Honourable Minister, sir, and to welcome here on stage the Honourable Minister, may I request Mr. Kushan Mitra, the printer and publisher, the pioneer, to please accord a floral welcome to the Honourable Minister. And to further extend a heartfelt gratitude to the Honourable Minister, sir, to felicitate him by presenting the shawl. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and we straight away move into this fireside chat which we have been waiting. Over to Mr. Kushan Mitra.
Thank you so much, and first a very, very warm welcome to HARDEEP Singh Puri ji, who's made time. It's a very stormy session of Parliament right now, and even more stormy in the world of geopolitics. You're a former diplomat. I'm sure you're glad you're not a diplomat anymore, or because of what's going on right now. But let's talk about biofuels. That's why you're here. Firstly, a huge round of congratulations to you and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry, all your PSUs, for achieving the target of 20% ethanol blending 5 years early. In a country where we are used to target slipping by decades, how do you manage to do this 5 years early?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank you.
You referred to events in Parliament and the world. All I can say is that for people like me, it's business as usual. So I'm very happy to be here. The ethanol blending process, you can, if you are a believer in developmental science, developmental economics, I think you must look at what was done before 2014 and what we've been able to do after 2014. I think the desire to go down the biofuels route, that desire was there well before 2014. I recall when I was ambassador to Brazil, the then government of the day in Delhi had already declared that they wanted to see and achieve a target of 5% biofuel blending in 10 of our states and union territories. We tried hard, but failed. I think what was the distinguishing feature in the pre-2014 process, when we ended 2014 with what, 1.53% of blending, and the post-2014 process was that here and today we can look back with the benefit of hindsight. I'm sorry I'm going before the 20% blending target which we've achieved 5 years in advance. The first target was 10%. And I can share with you some of my anxiety when I was associated with this program. When I got the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry, I was assigned to it, that even when it came to the 10% biofuel blending, I used to have some doubts a little, because we had to achieve it by 2022, I think. And I came on board in 2021 and I said, will we be able to do it? Because my own conditioning was in the pre-2014 period. But no, lo and behold, we got that target 5 months in advance. Then we set ourselves a target of 20%. And now I come to where you asked me, we did that 5 years in advance. But I don't think it is just, Kushan, I don't think it's just the achievement of the target. You can sometimes meet your overall goals, but how you do it. I want to draw your attention to 2 or 3 major changes. One is the diversification of the feed. Earlier, going by the Brazilian experience, Brazil is a country 3 times our land area, 1/6 our population, with 22% of the world's freshwater reserves. For them, sugar is not a problem. And Brazil can, with a little bit of effort, they can increase the area under acreage many times. But we have 6 times the population, 1/3 their area. We have to look at ethanol blending, or I'll come to biogas, I'll come to green hydrogen, with a different set of challenges. And I think a lot of people who said that, you have to look at food security, I used to think even then that that was a baloney argument. And now I'm convinced even more. Because in India's case, if you go down the biofuel, who are the beneficiaries? Your farmers, your agricultural sector. What do you save? I'm not just talking about environmental plus points. I'm talking about something else. You save foreign exchange. What did we save? 1,40,000 crores. What did you do? You gave, where did you give the money? You gave 1,20,000 crores or thereabouts to your farmers. And at a time when the rural sector is in, I wouldn't say distress, they were, you used to hear about these challenges, you used to hear about farmers having to face existential. We did a lot of things. We tried to put more money into the farmers' hands. MSP has gone up. left red and you nichodo it more, then you get C-heavy molasses. So you have C-heavy molasses. Our plant in Panipat, the IOCL plant, is making second generation ethanol from parali, agricultural waste. Today, and we have a system of giving good news in the cabinet today. I mentioned that yesterday or the day before, Corsair, which is the clean air environmental arm of ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, they have certified the use of used cooking oil in the Panipat refinery to make sustainable aviation fuel. We are making ethanol from broken food grain. So I think this is a program which has taken off, and no matter what these entrenched lobbies, I just tell them one thing. I lived in Brazil. The same car manufacturers were operating in Brazil, German, Japanese, the same operating here. Brazil has been on E27 or ethanol mixed in the basic blend up to 27%. Let's stop complaining long back. Yes, the calorific value, the performance of a car may be what, 1% or 2%, maximum 3% less. In the last 5 years, haven't I ever heard of an engine failure? And you've seen these, motivated trolls on social media. They will say that if you put E20, which is available in, God knows, it's come in every petrol pump. We have what, 88,000 pumps in India? E20 is available in every pump, basic feed. In about 400 pumps, we are selling E100 to encourage, it's a chicken and egg story. You make the fuel available, then they make the car for it. The car says, I can't come till the fuel is available. We are going to transfer this. Look, just now we are in a happy situation of having done E20 several years in advance, 5 or 6 years in advance. As we proceed, I am very sure, and we have comfort level with the ecosystem, the feed and everything, we will gradually raise it. What percentage? I'm not a soothsayer. I'm essentially a incrementalist, so we will see how it goes up. But I think the country is yearning for it. Is it more expensive? Arey bhai, suno to sahi. You are using your biomass. You are using that. You save foreign exchange. It's cleaner. But somebody who is so wedded to fossil fuels that you've got any cleaner energy, they try to stop the biofuels and the clean energy. When green hydrogen takes off in a very big way, now we are manufacturing trains, which engines will be powered, train engines with green hydrogen. I already have 15 green hydrogen. Let's start off. Because there are these, I don't want to name the category. Let's say there are people who have a vested interest and then they try to influence as a result of that.
No, we had Mrs. Vibha Dhawan and Mr. Vikram Gulati.
I see her sitting there, yes.
Yes, and in the previous panel, and they mentioned that it was a vile campaign. It was a vilification.
No, either you trust science or you trust, you trust BS. I trust science.
And this news on sustainable aviation fuel is also amazing because this is going to be used cooking oil. So,
before I get to use cooking oil and sustainable aviation fuel, look, other than that 2G using agricultural waste, parali, there also, which refinery is it? Numaligarh refinery in the northeast. They are making 2G ethanol from bamboo also.
We had a presentation from Assam Bamboo.
Exactly. So, bamboo is something that is easily replicable. Now, I'm going to take advantage of your hospitality, Kushan. I'm also looking at seaweed in a very big way. If you are familiar with geography and climatic zones, in the Indian waters, and we have a huge coastline, plus we have our offshore assets, the seaweed regrows in what, 6 weeks' time? So if you use seaweed as a basis to produce oil, I mean, this is all, and it's gone beyond the stage of pure experimentation. It's being done. There is a pilot project there. And then I was in, where was I? In Iceland, along with Austria and Norway, and they're big on geothermal energy. And today, I have the very pleasant duty to inform you, in a place in Ladakh at the height of 14,000 feet, ONGC has struck geothermal. They've struck steam. They're going to, electrify villages using that steam. etc. So these are all breakthroughs taking place in the India under transition. So, I mean, when you talk about geopolitics, I mean, you know, I'm not going to be commenting on some of those things, but I can tell you, we have enough availability, we have enough affordability, and the sustainability or transition story with all these things I'm mentioning is particularly good, and I'm so happy you're having this special session on biofuels and that you've had presentations on some of the second generation fuels as well.
Thank you so much for that, sir. This is amazing because our fuel needs as a nation will also go up. So we could
not grow up, they're going up exponentially. I don't know what somebody says about how healthy our economy is. Let me tell you, we're the fastest growing major economy in the world. Even our detractors say that we are growing at 6.5%. Our energy needs are 3 times those. You want to say something?
I said we are not dead, clearly.
I saw an Amul ad saying that they've taken one of their gold brine mills to Spain. I don't want to repeat it, otherwise, you know, my friends from the Fourth Estate are here. They'll say I made a comment. No, I'm having a good laugh. That's all I'm saying.
So our energy needs will go up. So obviously with that, the blending, the amount, we'll have a full bioenergy ecosystem also grow at the same pace or even faster than that?
No, I'll tell you. See, the global economy is what it is. I'm not going to say. Today we are at a stage where we are the 4th largest economy and we're growing at 6.5%. I don't want to name countries. The country which is at 5th position or the country at 3rd position, how much are they growing? I'm not going to say it, but they're much slower than ours. I mean, without taking names, we are growing at 6.5%, they're growing between 0 and 2%. Now, it stands to reason, and I'm not going by the assessments of the International Energy Agency in Paris, which says in the next 2 decades, in the next 20 years, 25% of the increase in global total demand will come from India. Now, so it's very easy to say that your energy needs will grow much faster than you are currently projecting. So I can say that your need for conventional fuels, you are going into biofuels in a big way. Will it remain at 20%? I don't know. I think it will go up. By how much will it go up? We will now take the stakeholders around. Vilification campaigns will not stop it. CBG will grow up. Natural gas will grow up. The mix of natural gas will grow up. Our E&P will go up. We are now, what, 6 to 8% of our sedimentary basin, we are around 8% or so. We will take it to 15%. We've opened up 1 million square kilometers of no-go area for prospecting. I see the energy scenario in India. By the way, I think our energy sector produces what, 19 to 20% of our overall government's, the revenues you take. I mean, you produce, the companies make money, the shareholders make money. It's all private sector, some of it is OMC's public sector, government gets tax out of it, and the consumer benefits. Where else in the world are you seeing this transformation?
And you said you've served in Brazil, and Brazil has this flex fuel future. Do you see, I
see the models coming here. I mean, if you are asking me, when will E85 models come? I said, once the manufacturers have confidence that the ecosystem being put in place, and the ecosystem is, it cuts across the country, because if I want to reverse the biofuels policy tomorrow, I will not be able to, because now there are interests. There are people who have set up, how much is the capacity for biofuels? I think 17 crore litre. 1700 crore litres is our capacity, and we are only at about 1100 crore litres plus. So people have taken money from banks, they have set up units. Those units will produce, and as we go along, there will be diversification. There are people looking at other things. Refining capacity is going up. So all over the energy sector per se, and out of which the biofuel story is a particularly noteworthy one.
And biofuels should not be confused with just ethanol alone, as you...
No, not at all. It's bigger than that.
It's CBG, it is SAF, it is...
Why do you think I brought those things in? Exactly, because I didn't want to think that... and by the way, sometimes I have this debate with my friends from Europe, and I see a lot of you sitting here. A lot of people think that biofuels in their full range and diversity can be produced anywhere in the world? I don't think so. You need biomass. You need countries like India, which have agriculture. You need countries like Brazil, maybe China, maybe the United States, but not everywhere. You're not going to be able to produce these if you have extreme weather conditions which don't permit this kind of biomass. I'm giving you a layman, undergraduate student's knowledge of it. So it's very clear that when we discuss of sustainable aviation fuel, why will sustainable aviation fuel take over? Somebody was trolling me today. You've said, you know, you put out this tweet from flying to frying or frying to flying, you know, because of this used cooking oil. What was happening earlier? People were taking the used cooking oil and exporting it. Why? Because there was no use for it. Now we have a refinery which can use it. So the question is, will the people who are aggregating that used cooking oil, will they still like to export it? No, if you give them a remunerative price, they would rather sell it to your refinery and that can be used. When will sustainable aviation fuel take off? Again, these are several concentric circles. But I think if the European Union decides to mandate, let's say, a certain percentage of sustainable aviation fuel, it will take off. By the way, we ran a flight. Ran means we operated. We means when I was civil aviation minister, an Air Asia flight, I think, operated from Pune to Delhi using 1% sustainable aviation mix. And I remember in a press conference after that, somebody asked, when are you going to do it? Well, I said, on my own. I said, by the year we'll reach 2027, we'll do 3%, then we'll do 5%. I don't remember, 2, 3, 5. I did it. Somebody asked me, when was that decision taken? I said, I just announced it. You see, you have to create a narrative. If you have sustainable aviation fuel, I used to worry how it is, what the Panipat refinery, if it can make it from used cooking oil. There are other people who will make it from other things. I've been in touch with many of the domestic biofuels producers in different parts of the country, and they assure me they can do it. So I think we are on the road to that. Today, biofuels is more than just ethanol, but ethanol is a very big story. Ethanol is a very successful story, and there is no problem with the engine. The German, Japanese, all of them will tell you they're running the same engine there. There's been no case of engine failure. So anybody who's trying this BS approach to vilification is not going to work.
Thank you, sir. But just one more thing over here. India has always been a net energy importer. Do you?
The idea is to, we are also exporters, by the way. Net, yes. You know, I mean, it's very interesting. We have a refining capacity today at about 260, 270 million metric tons per annum. We have arrangements in place for what, 320. But will you take it up to 400? We'll take it up to 450. People say, but you know, the use of fossil fuels will decline by then. There's a famous economist, I think in Shell, who made the mistake of writing in 1976 that the oil will peak by 2000. And a lot of people made a lot of mistakes and lost a lot of money with this kind of a prediction. If you were to ask any amateur economist, no matter where he or she is working, when will oil peak, they will say, I don't know. Maybe not by 2040, certainly not by 2030, probably not by 2040. Look, all this is going to be around. What we are doing is, we are also exporting in a big way. We have a refinery in a SEZ. They import crude oil from outside, export it. I have nothing to do with that. You understand? But our own companies, they are both importers and exporters. India, in the coming years, I think, when the global scenario rationalizes, India will be one of the 3 or 4 big hubs. And our own utilization of fuel will be very high. I see biofuel continuing to play a very big story. And when you talk about CNG, etc., look at where it's being used. It's one of the major transport providers. You know, 70% of our vehicular traffic on the roads is what, 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers? They are on CNG or replaceable batteries.
And you're also going to see innovation, obviously. As
100%. There's a whole ecosystem of startups, etc. Much of what is happening there is a local innovation.
As you said, seaweed as well.
No, seaweed is ours. You see, what happened is, many years ago, there was somebody who was dealing with seaweed, but somebody said, ki yahan pe laws nahi dena, and suddenly shifted to a country in the ASEAN region. Till I was having a conversation, we located him, came back. Now HPCL has a pilot plant. Now one of the lieutenant governors in an offshore union territory is in touch with me. Now people are vying. So there is a lot of activity taking place on all these fronts.
And of course, energy security also becomes very important over
Totally.
here. And biofuels obviously
More so now.
more so now. And we've stood up for our own energy security. We're not given to bullies. But biofuels obviously play a key role in ensuring our energy security going forward, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I won't take much of your time. I know the media is also...
No, I enjoyed talking to you, Kushan, not only because you remind me so much of my friend Chandan at Sotra, but you know, you have the same driving spirit, so more strength to your elbow. All I can say is that I enjoyed this discussion on biofuels. Insofar as the media waiting to talk to me, it will have to be on biofuels, guys, today.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri ji. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate your help with this event.
Thank you to the Honourable Minister, sir. Honourable Minister, sir, just if you can do also the honours of presenting the awards. We have the startups here and various industries, organizations who are not only have evolved to the biofuel era, but in fact are driving it. So the first award, ladies and gentlemen, is to the Biofuel Startup of the Year. It's Biofuel. Biofuel, India's pioneering B2B digital platform for biofuel and raw material trading. May I request a representative from the startup, Biofuel, to be please joining us as we present the Startup Award. That's a young entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen, coming here on the stage. Biofuel, India's pioneering B2B digital platform, currently facilitating over 12,000 tons of monthly biofuel trade and offsetting 25,000 plus metric tons of carbon dioxide. Biofuel serves 3,000 plus verified businesses across 7 states. The next award, ladies and gentlemen, the Biofuel Production Innovation goes to Assam Bamboo Ethanol Private Limited. Assam Bamboo Ethanol Private Limited, who also made the presentation. Representative from Assam Bamboo, they're being recognized for their pioneering work in producing ethanol from bamboo, an abundant and fast-growing resource in the northeast, and by using advanced eco-friendly technology, the company has developed a sustainable model of biofuel production. Next, we have the excellence in biofuels adoption at the village level. The award recognition to Zakariapura, Gujarat. Zakariapura, Gujarat से हमारे साथ मधु बहन परमार, जो कि सेक्रेटरी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी की हैं, और चंपा बहन परमार, Zakariapura सखी खाद्य सहकारी मंडली, आनंद डिस्ट्रिक्ट, गुजरात. They've shown how a small village can lead big change. With strong community involvement, support from local groups, the village has successfully switched from traditional fuels to clean, renewable biofuels. इनके लिए जोरदार तालियां हो जाए. दोनों मधु बहन परमार, चंपा बहन परमार हमारे साथ. The largest successful biofuel deployment in urban Bharat, recognition to Indore Clean Energy Private Limited. ICEPL, who have led one of the largest and the most successful urban biofuel initiatives in the country by converting city waste into clean biofuels using advanced technology. They played a pivotal role in improving Indore's waste management system while also addressing the city's energy needs. And now we have the academic excellence in biofuels research innovation. That goes to Amity University. Ladies and gentlemen, a leader in biofuels research and innovation, Amity has consistently demonstrated excellence in biofuel research with significant publications on advanced biofuel technologies, second generation ethanol, biodiesel, biomass valorization, and their cutting-edge projects focus on converting agricultural waste and non-edible feedstock. Thank you to the Honourable Minister for doing the honours. So we are having the media briefing here itself only. So once again, many congratulations to all the devotees. We'll now have the press briefing with the Honourable Minister, sir. May I request just raise your hand. We'll pass on the mic.
No, I just
Kushan
want to
can moderate it.
look. Many of these invitees here are friends of mine, and all I can tell you is that I am going to answer questions on biofuels. No, I'll tell you what, because I'll be very frank with you. Much of what has been written today is not in the realm of what is happening in the world. It is fiction writing. So I'm not going to get into a discussion because I'm not into the world of fiction. Okay? So if you have questions on biofuels, I'll happily answer them.
So why don't you address the issue around everybody asking about what will happen to their cars?
Nothing will happen. I've already answered that question. Let me tell you the science on the car. Thank you, Kushan, for bringing it up. Anybody says that ethanol brings down the efficiency of the engine? Well, all scientific studies say maximum by 1 or 2%. And if it goes out, you can recalibrate the engine and nothing will happen. Brazil has been at it for God knows how many decades. We've been at it now for since 2014, and all this talk about engine failing is wholesome BS. I'm not spelling out what BS is. Okay, you make up. So this is one. Any other questions I can answer? It's a very successful program. Enjoy yourself. The program will grow, and India is today, I don't have the exact statistics, but apart from Brazil and the United States, we are the third largest biofuel ecosystem, and the rate at which we are going, given our population and our energy requirements, we could be going up from the third figure upwards. Thank you very much. I know you would want something else and more, but today is not the day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. May I request Mr. Kushan to present a memento also to the Honourable Minister. Mr. Kushan, if you could present the memento to the Honourable Minister. Please join us, ladies and gentlemen, as we express the Honourable Minister thanks to the Honourable Minister with a special memento being presented. As the Honourable Minister mentioned, in the energy mix which we are talking about, the biofuels are going to be playing an important role. Okay, thank you. Just a request to everyone here to kindly please make way for the Honourable Minister. Please, all of you, be at your respective seats, please. Thank you once again to the Honourable Minister and all our friends from the media. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to be moving out for a short tea and coffee break, starting with the next session, the last session. That's going to be a special session with the respected Secretary, Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Pankaj Jain ji. That's going to be the last session, starting at 5:45. Once again, a special session. The Honourable Minister, sir, has said, in India's energy transition and decarbonization pathway and towards a more inclusive growth for the country, ethanol, biodiesel, the second and the third generation fuels are going to be playing a very important role in the energy mix. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for tea outside. 5:45, we start with the special session with the respected Secretary PNG. Requesting you to be back at your respective seats by 5:40, please. Thank you.